Welcome back to Case Closed, Anime Review, episode number 54. This one reviewing the 957th episode of the anime, which is The Mystery Soiling Water Taxi, Part 2. Yep, another fill episode, the third fill episode in a row, after the recent canon episode. hmm Yep. Well, this episode, we figure out who exactly the murderer is. Well, the two crimes that happened in the last episode, they're solved in this one. And not people what you expect. Most of this episode is just, well, starts off where you have Conan and Richard Moore just going to the bar from last week's episode, the all eating buffet. And they go there and they basically verify the guy's alibi. Well, they kind of break his alibi and figure out, though, yeah, the guy had an accomplice. And he was able to get away because the fact he had a friend who looked very similar height and build, probably similar face than he does. And he saw it back and forth, and then he was the one who killed him. And they didn't have immediate evidence to prove it. It took a while for them to finally find evidence, but they did. Conan didn't find evidence, no problem, thanks to a conversation he had with him. And he figured out, though, that the reason why that the first guy got killed was because he suspected, everyone else was suspecting that he was the one abusing his former teacher. When it turns out that, nope, he was not the person abusing his teacher. It was actually, it wasn't the younger son of the teacher, it was the elder one. He was the one abusing her, and the younger one was protecting her. So it's partially true she's being abused, but they accused the wrong son. So, oh yeah, and what happened, teacher? She ended up getting killed by her eldest son, and then he started the fire. Okay. Why he decided to do this, like, he suffered humiliation, like, what? What the heck is he talking about? When the heck did this happen? Yeah, this revelation comes completely out of the blue, and as for the guy killing the other one, yeah, that's my only guess is that the reason why the writer of the episode probably did that is probably because he wrote himself into a corner because, well, he didn't have definitive murderer. So he accused the second. So he had the second guy who was accused of murdering him revealed to be the actual murderer. Yes. With this episode, unlike the last one, they have filler, like a filler murder story. It feels that was playing out. This feels like very last minute, and they just wrote this episode on the fly. Yeah, but that's beautiful animation. But the episode stuff also has one small problem. For me, a fill episode, normally they basically happens where Rachel shows up in these fill episodes. Lately, no, she hasn't. I think it may be one or two since they had that awesome two-parter. Like, her last appearance was in the Unsolved Cocktail Case. Yeah, that was her last known appearance. Wasn't that three-parter? It's like now, it's like, okay, let's have Richard Moore for the canon episodes. No fill episodes for her. Excuse me, I'm like, okay. Then what about the rest of the characters in the series? Overall, in this whole two-part, you only had 5 regulars. You had Richard Moore, Conan, Seth MacGuire, Takagi, and Kiba. That's pretty much it. Yeah. I would say for of this two-parter, the first episode I thought was a lot more interesting. Was well told. This episode was just a disappointment. It wasn't terrible, unlike, let's say, the Insect Man one. That was pure awful. This was a little better than that, but that's my opinion of the episode. It's just disappointment that they made the obvious guy the murderer, and, well, they had him confess right after the other guy, the older son, basically. What's the guy's name? I have to look him up on here. Yeah, because it seems as though, like I said, this episode was written completely on the fly. And I was trying to look up online and see if there's a preview for like what time the next episode is. There's not one available at all, which is kind of weird. Heck, the episode I just watched, they didn't have a preview for the next episode, which is kind of weird. They did have a post-credit scene, which I do appreciate. Yes, this series is noteworthy whenever it does any, let's say, two-parters. The first part doesn't have post-credit scene. The second part does. hmm The guy was killed named Ija Kurosaki. hmm The one who his mother is Yoshiko, I think that's the person's name, and the one who murdered her was her older son Yuichi. Yeah, he was the one who actually murdered her. I'm like, okay. Oh yeah, and there's a thing at the end of the episode where, yeah, it's a gag basically in the series whenever Conan does the whole sleeping more thing, where he just knocks him and leaves him someplace completely random. hmm Yep. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, not much else to say about this episode. Just okay, and bit of disappointments. Okay. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. 3 reviews coming today: One Piece, Boruto, and One Punch Man. Okay. See you next review. Bye.